go. Welcome, dear audience, here in VileHQ Alleyway or the VileHQ Plus channel to the third episode of ShitePasta. Along with me, Parrot Antics, is my dear friend June. Say hello.
Hello, Internet. I have come with Parrot Antics again to host this episode of ShitePasta, where today we'll be covering the pasta after school.
That's right. After all, when I saw this pasta, I thought it might be actually decent, but when I started digging deeper and deeper and deeper, it looks like not so scary, but rather it's a pain in the arse, like literal pain. My head was just trying to not. I was trying to not slam my head on the desk through because of what I saw. Uh, anyway, this pasta takes 5 pages in the Word, but it's actually pretty long. And you know what? I'll stop giving the giving my opinion on it. We'll have time for this, so let's just read out and point out what's the problem with it.
Here we go!
It started just as a normal Friday. It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
I got. Okay, I'd like to, again. I don't think we'll have other Formula One jokes at this point.
Smooth operator. Smooth operation.
No, there's no chili, just milk, or even not milk at all. I started by eating breakfast, and afterwards I went to school. I never liked Fridays, as if each of them was Friday the 13th. I guess some old hag will come to haunt you.
I never liked Friday. Said nobody who went to school ever.
Of course. Okay, it's where the weekend begins, but it is also my longest day at school. At least it feels like it. When I got to school, I suddenly felt a bad feeling. Let me guess, another killing spree coming?
Oh, you did mention Friday the 13th.
But I mentioned one old hag, not this overfucked bozo with a hockey mask and machete.
Yeah.
I forgot to do my homework for physics because I spent too much time on my PC. Because playing The Sims or Grand Theft Auto was much more important to me. I've always hated my physics teacher, and I was sure he was going to punish me. Although not in the way normal teachers would. Of course, I mean, he would punish me by slamming his bass guitar on my face like a true rockman. I mean, that's actually great from my personal point of view, because my physics teacher in secondary school was actually a musician, and he was playing an electric guitar or bass guitar. I don't know. He at some point times he kept constantly reminding how cool Gibson guitar he had, and he once showed us. It was actually awesome. He was
I
harsh,
hope
but actually a likable guy.
pieces onto that guitar, though.
Yeah. My physics teacher always liked to come up with his own punishments, mostly writing down thousands of lines of having to stay at school and clean up the class. That's lame. Honestly, the Rockman version would sound much better. Physics was my first lesson this day, so I didn't have any time anymore to do the homework, so I hoped for the best. My guess is, you've been reading aloud. It will be right. It will be right many times. Any typical student does that.
Nothing's alright. Nothing is fine.
When I entered the class, the teacher started with his daily sermon. So, a priest is your physics teacher, right?
Daily sermon? I thought this was just a school, not Sunday school.
I felt so. If anyone thinks he is allowed to talk in class, you're going to have a bad time. If you really do your homework, you can leave now. I don't want you in class then. Well, sayonara!
End credits.
I didn't leave because I'm smart. The reason that I didn't leave is because a mail would be sent to your parents then saying you've been sent out of class. Really, ain't that shit talked about during consultations or what? Honestly, where is that system implemented? I never heard about anything like that, at least in Europe. Any European country, I don't think so.
Not over here either in Korea.
My parents would be pissed. They would be so angry you could place a teapot on their heads to make some tea. Yeah, that's right. I would rather write down "I will do my homework from now on" 1,000 times than getting sent out of class. Well, because that's gonna be a good exercise, even that it's not physical education.
Good exercise for the
Yeah. Let's pack these muscles. Next, he said, "I'm going to check your homework now. Please lay it on the table so I can see it." Okay, that can work. Although, as I usually the teachers would call out the students to show them the homework or what, or just collect them. Never mind. He started with checking the homework of the people on my left. I guess his desk was set on that side. Usually there's the teacher's desk is set near the window or whatever the hell, like never near the door.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of the classroom, so he would be here in about 30 seconds. I checked on my fancy stopwatch.
Yes, the old stopwatch, returning from the Sonic EXE episode.
Although Sonic EXE was not the story that brought the stopwatch, but okay.
Oh man, of Sonic EXE. Personally, I wouldn't give too much shit to this story because, while far from perfect, it is better than Sonic EXE.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I didn't want to have to tell him I didn't do anything. I don't know, you could always tell you were sick, or I don't know, your homework was blown off by the wind, or your cat shredded your notes. Just try
Sick
defending
excuse.
yourself at least. Don't sit like some muppet.
Sick excuse feels like the most number one excuse to make.
Yeah, sure, but he would actually try to talk it out instead of like sitting like some mimosas or whatever the hell.
Give me your medical records then, mister.
I don't think teachers would be able to see that. Anyway, so I quickly started to fill in some wrong answers, hoping he would check the content of my work. Fifth rule of dynamics: it's a kind of magic we don't have to explain at all.
Wah wah.
I don't think Newton was that high. When he came, he looked into my book. He should have seen there was something filled in for the exercises now, so I hoped that he would walk away quickly. Sadly, for me, he didn't. He saw through your mind games. You won't cheat him anymore. And he told me, I saw you just wrote down this shite. You, you know, I hate it when students. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I hate it when students don't make their homework, right? You're not classified for the end of this year. So fuck off. No, he didn't say that. And as you didn't tell me in the beginning of my class, I will come up with a great punishment myself. I'll see you at 4 p.m. in this classroom. Great. My afternoon is ruined. Just like your score will be once you feel what does heavy metal mean.
Damn.
And afterwards, I will have to explain to my parents why I'm this late at home. Gotta hate my life. Of course, because your parents must be a true dickheads. Haven't seen we that in other stories? At 4 p.m., I went to his classroom about to be punished. I asked my PE teacher to borrow me a rugby helmet, but he refused. Sadly. I'm gonna endure this shit somehow. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do. When I entered his classroom, I saw he wasn't there already. I guess he went to the toilet to take that dump out. You know, teachers can go to toilet, Mr. Protagonist. Although his briefcase seemed to be still on his desk. In my curiousness, I quickly checked the contents of the briefcase.
Who does that?
Honestly, I presume some con, I think, but at least not a good student, because good student would actually memorize shite for tests or whatever. I hope to find some illegal stuff like weapons or weed, or maybe even answers for the upcoming test. That would be nice, don't you think? So I could tell the head teacher and go home now. Although all I found was some physics books, some pens, markers, and papers. I mean, you can still find answers there for the test, you just need to dig further. You know, paper does not bite. Right that moment, my physics teacher came in shouting at me, "What do you think you're doing? Trying to steal my stuff? Trying to murder me in my sleep? Now face the heavy metal blow into your face."
Trying to murder me in my sleep? What? No!
I told him that I was just searching for a pen to write something down and I was terribly sorry. I searched his briefcase. "Stop lying, we know you've been looking for test answers." But I don't believe it sounded very convincing. I told you.
Especially since he was just trying to write shit down earlier that day, so he definitely has a pen.
Yeah, definitely. He said, "I was going to let you clean up this classroom so you could go home about 5. But now I will let you clean up the classroom next door too. Now I will let you work till at least 6. You will let him. I think the proper word should be, I will make you do this and that. And by the way,
Aye.
shouldn't the school be closed after 6? Like, what's the point of having them after having the students inside the school after 6 p.m.? Like,
Yeah,
is there a party or something?
Unless this is high school, I don't think students would be allowed to stay in school after 6.
Maybe only if there was, I don't know, some disco party or whatever the hell. But for that you need the head teacher's consent. But this story never tells that why. Why to 6? I think by 5 he should be out of school. But never mind. I wanted to curse right in his face, but knew that this was definitely not the time to do that. I guess he found out how to become a crappy killer. Oh my god. This is killing me. No pun intended. I just said, yes, sir, took a cloth and started cleaning up the classroom. I mean, entire classroom, from ceiling to the floor, like anything. Had to be dust free.
Cleaning with a cloth? I thought most schools would at least have the courtesy to have like a broom or a mop.
Or at least a brush for, dusting. The teacher left with his briefcase. I presume the toilet business again.
He probably went to vomit all of his intestines out into the toilet because he just read Sonic EXE.
Oh my god, no. I don't think he was that. He was that busy. I knew my teacher had access to the school's security cameras, so I wasn't able to just stop working for a while. Yeah, I know. It makes sense. The teachers might get access to the CCTV, but on his mobile phone, I'm sure he's supposed to ask the security.
On his mobile phone? Keep in mind that this story...
The story never tells us how he had access to it.
And this story was written a long time ago, so CCTV footage on a mobile phone, that seems very unlikely.
Possibly, because honestly, I was just guessing that he had an access to mobile phone, so he could just, when he saw this brat slagging around, he would just come up and slap his face with a Gibson or whatever.
What, he's gonna teleport all the way up to the school again on his way home?
Nah, I don't think. Never mind. Although he couldn't let me work longer than 6 p.m. because the school closed at that time. Yeah, that was my point. The school should be closed after 6.
Exactly.
I worked for what seemed to be like ages because I was slow, like a fly in a deep sauce. Or a tar, I don't know.
Slow ass motherfucking main character.
Well, Jesus fucking Christ. Unfortunately, another side of unprofessionalism, ringing phones.
Man.
I'm sorry you had to hear that. Honestly.
Fine.
Never mind. Let's go. When the clock showed 6, I didn't stop working. I just kept cleaning up stuff as I knew he wouldn't be mad if he came in and see me do anything else than working. You idiot! You should have reported to him that it's time and you have to go home.
So, judging by how much of an asshole this teacher is, I probably wouldn't put it past that.
Really? For what purpose you would stay after 6? And I presume the head teacher doesn't know you're there. Because why would he? Never mind. I am the one that chooses when you are done, not you, he would say. And then he'd give me his Gibson and a can of wax to polish all the strings. You know, because you need to play that heavy metal. It became 6:30. I just kept looking at the clock, but the teacher just wasn't coming. I guess his arse got glued to the toilet.
That teacher is gonna be so fired for student neglect.
The school should even be closed by now. I decided to search for him. I first went to the staff room. Nobody there. Check the toilet, please. Maybe the old lad is screaming in pain right now, and you just don't hear that. You just ignore it.
Ah, I'm constipated!
Then I just decided to go. Meh, saw that bastard. Let him stay and shite himself to death.
Shit all his intestines out.
Yeah, that's filthy. The teacher must have forgotten about me. How about you? You're forgetting about him. I went back to the classroom, grabbed my bag, and went to the front door of the school. It was locked. Usually, I think that in many cases of secondary schools, the entrance doors for students are usually located at the sides because that's where that's where the lockers are located, like the coat hangers and everything. But what do I know? I don't know even where this story is located. It could be US, it could be UK, it could be Bahamas, anywhere, because the pasta doesn't tell us at all. The front the front the front door would usually be closed at that time. And it's time for the quest. Find a key. Well, it's classy. I kinda started to panic. You kinda started. Or you're not know if you're panicking or what. The school closed at 6. Everyone had gone already. Well, except you and your teacher who got stuck in the toilet.
Screw's stuck to the toilet. He's probably sucked into the toilet by now.
Oh my god. Possibly. I checked some other doors and also some emergency exits. All locked. About emergency exits. Don't you know that you have to break the glass to get the key for emergency door? Usually there must be a way to unlock it. It can't be locked outright.
Also, this kid doesn't think of trying to use any of the windows on the first floor. Never mind trying to lock them again once you've exited. Just getting out of the school is your first priority right now.
Definitely. I was getting hungry and wanted to go home as fast as possible. Gotta go fast! Gotta go fast!
Just when we thought we were done with Sonic.
At least this Sonic is actually awesome, not this crappy red area. I first tried the school's telephone, possibly breaching the doors to the secretary's room, because where else would the phone be? You can't have phone on the hall itself.
Actually, I do remember my elementary school having a phone for emergency use out in the hallway, but I can't say the same for every school ever.
No, definitely not in a secondary school. I mean, I remember that none of my schools, even the primary school, the secondary school, they never had a phone on the hall. There was a fire alarm, but never a phone. The power of the whole school seemed to be down. Or really, even the emergency route weren't lit. As far as I know, they are lit. Because they run on independent source of power. The batteries, at least. phones weren't working because some muppet broke the line. Damn you, bully, or whatever, or whoever you were. And light switches wouldn't turn on. Well, get a flashlight. Or better, get a phone out of your pocket. Problem solved. I didn't have my mobile phone with me because it was raining outside. Why? Why? In your
Who do-
age, every goddamn brat has a mobile phone. Because as far as I know, your parents would be scared shitless and would constantly call you hour by hour, hour by hour, to get news about you. Where are you, you idiot? I never took my mobile phone with me when it was raining because I was afraid that the rain would damage my phone in my pocket while I was cycling. Because I couldn't get myself a sodding raincoat.
Or a Ziploc bag to put the phone in.
Definitely. I know maybe backpack would get slightly wet, but I don't think the internal if its pockets would get wet inside, unless you, I don't know, dumped it in the puddle. One last way to escape came in my mind. I could open a window on the ground floor and leave the school that way, possibly activating an alarm and bringing Rosers to the school.
Oh yes, please bring the police to the school. There's a lost child in the school.
And the teacher sucked to a toilet. You need 911 where it's needed. I checked all the classrooms and other rooms on the ground floor of the building, but all the windows seemed to be locked with a lock. Funny that all doors leading outside were closed down and locked, but the classrooms were actually open.
Also, I don't know any schools that locks their windows with a goddamn padlock.
I mean, at some schools there are just like steel bars on the outside placed, but not that is often repeated. In some old school buildings, maybe it still is, but I didn't even know the windows had locks. Never seen them. Oh, many. You haven't seen many stuff yet. In a last effort of despair, I searched the staff room for any keys, but I couldn't find any. And about security room, you know, the one with cameras, they usually have the keys to every classroom as well, and even to the outside. Because I presume the staff room is like teacher's lounge or whatever the hell, but I don't know. And basically, mission failed. We'll get it next time.
Ah, if only this kid had Jill Valentine, the master of unlocking, with him, this would have gotten a lot easier.
Or even get I don't know. Or even he could be schooled by Ezio Auditore, but he would suck at lockpicking. By the time I had tried all ways to escape the building, it was already 8. No wonder it took so long. You were running around like a blind child in the complete darkness. I hadn't even eaten anything yet, so I decided to take anything out of the vending machines. The vending machines that weren't supposed to work because there was no fucking electricity on.
I thought exactly.
I still had some money in my bag. I spent half of it for supper. Chips, biscuits and candy. Your mom would surely lecture you on your diet, but still, how were you supposed to use the vending machine with no power. Was there,
Yeah,
like, I don't know, a generator? Somewhere emergency generator that powered the vending machines? There wasn't much more in the vending machine. Well, it was Friday, supplies are filled on Monday, usually.
figures.
As I didn't want to waste money on a drink, I used the coffee machine in the staff room. First, how? Without power? Or maybe, I don't know, you used
Sure.
a gas stove,
Use
but who the hell puts
coffee.
gas stoves in schools? And second, you're lucky that CCTV was off, but you know what, in case of police coming in, they would be able to trace you down by your fingerprints. Because we haven't seen you putting gloves or anything, you thief. Shame on you. For that night, I chose to wait. I knew that the teacher would find out he had forgotten something, and if not, my parents would call the police that I haven't been coming home. Wait a second, has he got stuck in the toilet? My guess is he ran out of oxygen from all that calling that you decided to ignore.
He's probably by now stuck down in the U-bend hanging out with Moaning Myrtle.
Possibly. The police would find out that I had gotten this punishment. Afterwards, the police would call my physics teacher, and then he will remember. Or rather, you will remember, because you'll be arrested for stealing coffee. As I didn't seem to be able to get some sleep in my current state, I just started to wander around the school searching for interesting stuff, like a flashlight, or maybe even some food. Ladies and gentlemen, he's trying to be another Nathan Drake. Uncharted 005 School Heist.
Or maybe he's trying to make the next Whispering Corridors movie.
Oh my god. I don't know. I couldn't find anything like that. Well, except the vending machine, but I didn't want to waste money and power that was supposed to be cut off. I also searched the school for doors I never went through. Now was the time to check it out. Well, in complete darkness, so good luck keeping all your teeth intact, because surely you will trip over and smack your jaw. After a while, I found a door on the ground floor that I never really seen before. I swear it never was there, although I couldn't be sure because this was a part of the school I almost never came. Yeah, because it usually was hidden behind a glass case full of trophies.
Door that was originally never there but is suddenly there for some reason. Oh god, it's SCP-087! Get out of there, kid! Get out!
I forgot he can't, he's locked inside. I entered the door to discover that it was leading to the basement. I didn't know this school had a basement. Oh, really?
Oh,
Then tell
087.
me, where else would they keep all the main switches or valves in? You think they would keep them under the walkway? Then just lift the pavement plate to get to the valves with gas, water, and everything. Or unlock the fuse box by digging in the grass. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. This is just... it could be the place where they hid the exams, and that's why I never knew about this store. We weren't allowed to know. As I was in the last year of school, I was pretty curious about this exam idea, so I decided to check it out. Because I knew that I would graduate the school in a normal fashion, so why not try some cheating? Because I'm
Congratulations. If the police doesn't arrest you for stealing the coffee, then they sure as hell will arrest you for stealing exam answers.
Yeah, definitely. And all your school will have their exams cancelled. and I would have
His
to
bit.
repeat that. The basement was very dark, and as I didn't have any flashlight, I couldn't see anything. Well, the god hasn't given me the night vision. My life is really sucky. I thought of an experiment we once did in physics. It was about solar panels, but we used a flashlight with that. Oh, really? You know, I once made an experiment with a solar panel and a flashlight, seeing if it was able to try powering like a small electric model that spin a fan. And guess what? It didn't work. It worked only in the sun.
Uh,
Uh, I ran to the storage room next to the classroom and had been cleaning up, somehow being able to see in the dark. Although I don't know, maybe you had reflections from the moonlight, but you never tell us. All
mhm.
the things that we used with both physics and chemistry when were stored there. I searched the stuff and found the flashlight. I pressed I pressed the button to find out that it worked. And also, it revealed broken probes with some corrosive liquids, and there's a pretty giant hole in the ground.
Still can't believe this school has no emergency flashlights for him to use. You know, the kind of flashlights that they have lying around the hallways or use in case of fires.
Yeah, definitely. But that's not the only time this story is basically violating all the health and safety protocols.
Yeah, this whole school ought to be sued.
I went down again into the basement and turned my flashlight on. I looked around. It just seemed to be a janitor's room. You know, maybe there were keys in the room. But wait, you came here for the exam sheets, haven't you? There were some brooms and other cleaning things. Nothing
Or
special.
sweep.
There were some brooms and other cleaning things. Nothing special. Oh, how I don't pity you. And and you see, you there were brooms. You could always ask for a broom. You didn't have to kneel down and clean the floor with some rag. Then I looked at the paintings on the wall. They were black and white pictures of our school, very old pictures. Well, I guess they must have been really worn out because usually such painting or picture, I don't know, he can't decide, usually is displayed in the whole like part of the gallery or whatever. You know,
Mm.
usual stuff to promote the school's history. The school building is more than 200 years old. It was a hospital before, and it had been restored before it became a school. Now, I guess, where will it take us? Where is this
Hos-
going to take us?
ho- Oh, that's always a red flag.
There were some paintings of the hospital floors with the beds and stuff. There were also some floor maps, three in total, conveniently placed near the cabinet full of chalk, I guess, and
Hmm.
some cleaning liquids that are actually corrosive and what so what, you know, hydrochloric acid, sodium chloride, and so on, that stuff.
I
One of the ground floor. These floor maps seem to be from the time the building was still a hospital. See the names of the rooms, although the floor map of the ground floor seemed to be quite accurate with how the school looked now. Sure, it might have been like wrinkled or the ink could be worn out, but yeah, it still was somehow readable. The rooms had names like Room 101 to 201 or Surgery Room 1. I never expected the art classroom to be a former surgery room, but in fact, I didn't even care. Oh, certainly. Some killers would certainly disagree with you because they find slaughter as the finest form of art. Surely. The second map was a map of the first floor. Also, this one was a very accurate with how this floor looked now, despite all the wear. All the classrooms were rooms patients used to sleep in, except the art classroom where they performed surgeries with no disinfection because that was late 19th century. That was mid 19th century where they didn't know how to disinfect the wounds.
Oh, the horror.
The last map was a map of the basement, although it was very big, just as big as the other floors of this school. This room in the basement was definitely not the only room. The school seemed to have a lot of tunnels and rooms underneath. Tunnels and rooms under the school. Wait a second, was this a lazaret in an old fortress, or was there a mine shaft also?
I know that this story just said this school used to be a hospital, but I don't think even hospitals would have basements that big.
Yeah, essentially, but really, one big tunnel was leading outside of the map called emergency exit. You see, you can use this one, but of course you don't at this point because you're amazed by how accurate these maps are. The rooms of this map were definitely not rooms patients used to stay in. One room was called deceased storage. Who writes like that? A 6-year-old? I'm pretty sure a term morgue was known 200 years ago.
My thoughts exactly.
This was some freaky shit. Of course, I will be freaked out by a 6-year-old scripture. Although I was also very curious now. I had to know if these tunnels and rooms were still there. And possibly find some treasures because all tunnels are perfect hideouts.
Whatever next, a Minecraft stronghold? Is there an end portal somewhere around here?
Who knows? Maybe we might find the Batcave.
Or maybe I don't know. He's looking for the amber chamber that was stolen by the Germans. I don't know.
Also, remember what I always say, curiosity killed the cat. What happened to just
Exactly.
escaping the school and going back home?
Oh wait, who's there? Oh, hello, Vile. Sorry, I didn't
Hi.
notice you coming.
That's
Never
fine.
mind. Never mind. Let's move on. I began feeling very tired. Well, that quest was really addictive. Like, I don't know, like a caffeine. So I took the maps with me and searched for a place in the school I would be able to rest. Well, there's a floor, there's a wall, maybe there are some benches, or maybe in the classroom you can just make yourself a bed out of seats. That's
Or
actually
you could the nurse's office.
it would be pretty
It's
uncomfortable, but you would be able to adapt. I remembered that there were some nice sofas to sleep on the first floor next to the computer square. Yeah, because it's pretty common in this school for students and teachers to nap at breaks. There's no risk of having your bag stolen or some bullies drawing dicks on your face. No, you can just have a nap.
again, just go
Yeah,
to the nurse's office. They have beds there.
they're totally not gonna sneak drugs into the bag.
And of course, like big comfy chairs would be a thing, but not sofa at least. I don't think a sofa would be. I went there, used some of the cushions as a blanket, and fell to sleep. Well, at least you escaped the powers of a certain fish-faced killers. Oh, I don't know, maybe your teacher didn't. I don't know. The ones stuck in the toilet.
Piss and shit.
Yeah. I fell asleep quickly because it was 2 a.m. Already when I went to sleep. And possibly shivered in a cold because there was no heating. And the cushions were not a good blanket as I thought. I slept till about 9 and I had a terrible sneeze. Achoo!
Not hype. Yeah.
I first had to eat. I went to the vending machine again and took a Snickers, some biscuits, and a cup of coffee again. Of course, you haven't paid for coffee because you have taken it from the machine, and again, you use the vending machine with no power. At all.
Again, are you even old enough for coffee?
My guess is he's in the secondary school, so he might be at uh, 14 to 17 years old. I don't
He's
know,
one of those.
possibly.
One of those children who drinks coffee at an early age.
Yeah. Or maybe he was just addicted to energy drinks. I don't know. Afterwards, as I didn't have anything better to do, I went to the basement again. I took the third map, the map of the basement, good to inform us, to check where I could be. Well, good, you told us it was the map of the basement. I thought it was a map of a new region in the Pokemon game. Wait, what was the latest name of latest Pokemon region? Paldea, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pokemon
Scarlet and
Scarlet.
Violet.
I played Pokemon Scarlet. It was okay. Though again, before that, I only played Pokemon White 2 on DS emulator, and 2 Nova was meh. What suffice? Still thinking Hoenn is better. I found the
I
room.
personally like Johto.
Yeah, Johto is also good. I found the room where I was, as it was somewhere in the middle of the map. The reason that on my left should be a hallway to the safety room. I'm not quite sure an old hospital would have some sort of anti-aircraft bunker or whatever.
What even is a safety room supposed to be?
Yeah, exactly. My initial thought was it's like a
Let me
some
guess,
kind
it
of
has
air
glass doors
bunker
too.
or whatever. I wondered why as hospitals had such a room. Because of some crazy patient? Well, seems legit. A school that was set in what used to be, I don't know, a mental hospital. So you, I don't know, need an isolation room or whatever the hell in such ones. The thought of that made me laugh.
As crazy patients do.
I checked my left to see a wall there. It was a simple wooden wall made of some planks. Surely some anime fans decided to storm that buildings to save their waifus.
Or husbandos.
Or husbandos, but mostly waifus. Because we know how the plank waifus look like. I saw that the nails which held this wall together were very rusty. They could break at any time. Therefore being unable to pull out because they would snap at bare touch of pliers or whatever.
Also, beware of tetanus.
I went up to the staircase to the ground floor to check if anyone was around. And there wasn't. At that time, I think someone would come, for maintenance stuff. The janitor you said, you mentioned that you didn't, that didn't came. Because
Yeah, even on the weekends.
I don't think school would be abandoned. Would be closed down at Saturday, at Sunday maybe, but not Saturday. At some days the school would be even open, like I don't know, open days for to show to potential candidates for students or whatever. Uh, this was my chance. I knew I could get kicked out of school if I destroyed the wooden wall, but as the school got me in this situation I was in now, I didn't really care. Oh, you rebel. I decided to remove only the bottom three planks and then I would be able to crawl underneath it. I started to destroy the nails because, my hands were as strong as pliers and I could easily grab the nails. To be able to remove the first plank, the generated space was not enough to crawl underneath yet, but it was enough to see that there was definitely a hallway there. I thought, why did they use this space? Why did they just leave it like this? Well, for what reason would they need a classroom in the basement? I don't know. I started removing the other two planks. When I was done, I geared up myself up with my flashlight and crawled underneath. So how you were able to see what's behind the planks back then? Because you didn't mention you had a flashlight with you until this moment. Like you didn't mention using that flashlight. I don't know, suddenly you have a night vision or what?
Pulled the flashlight out of his ass.
Or maybe. Right at the moment I climbed in, I realized I was doing stuff that I shouldn't have done. I had removed those planks so someone would find out eventually.
Should have thought of.
I don't think they would care much as everyone have just left you in the school for the night. So why would they care about some stupid planks? Although I didn't mind to get kicked out of this school anymore. All this school felt like right now was a dark place. At noon, to be fair.
Oh, he is meant.
Just before I started hesitating, my curiousness took over and I continued my way into the hallway.
And curiosity killed the cat.
The hallway was entirely dark, so I needed my flashlight to be able to see anything. In the hallway, there were cobwebs anywhere. Yay, Spider-Man's got a party there!
Spider-Man probably had too much fun in there. If you know what I mean.
Maybe. I hope I wouldn't encounter any rats or mice. Because rats are just so smart they would take you as an ingredient for the soup.
or maybe like prepares a new dish.
Hills.
Human ratatouille.
Oh, definitely. I took my map and chose to check out the safety room first. The safety room's door was like a huge vault door. So I guess this is panic room. Well,
those are blast doors? Are they blast doors?
Maybe, I don't know.
Trying to escape the
Blast
school.
doors activated.
Where's the exit? Why is the kid even doing any of this?
If it was locked, I wouldn't be able to get in, but luckily for me, it was ajar. That's a pity because you couldn't train lockpicking abilities. Well, you won't become a good assassin in the future.
He ain't no Jill Valentine.
Definitely. I opened the vault door further and looked inside. The room was filled with cobwebs. It was very cold there. I guess Spidey had a party of his life.
Mary Jane must have been that hot.
I pointed my flashlight on the ground. I wish I never had. Because there was a box with a boxing glove that got launched at my face. Actually, it wasn't. There was a body on the ground. At least, what was left of it. Oh god! Umbrella Corporation left a corpse there. Also...
You'll all die down here.
Also, who the fuck leaves a corpse within the school's complex?
What is this? Yandere Simulator?
Them before renovating it into a school, so yeah, it makes no sense for a corpse to be left behind.
Was Yandere Chad here?
I don't know. Maybe it was Ayano. Maybe it was, I don't know.
Judo
Maybe
Gafai.
yeah.
Andre here.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Jeff the Killer or Lord Voldemort
Or
whoever.
Slenderman. Slenderman.
Plot. His corpse used to be the kid from Sonic EXE who got killed by the spooky Sonic plushie.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe I don't know. As I said, Umbrella Corporation left the corpse. I don't know, on the orders of Wesker. It was just next to the vault door, so whoever this was seemed to have died while trying to close the vault door to escape whatever was chasing this person. And then possibly suffocated because there was no air vent to get some oxygen.
Oof.
I screamed. Ah! I ran as fast as possible. Again, gotta go fast. Back to the janitor's room to get out of this basement as fast as possible. Wasn't this janitor's room in the basement? I don't know. I was scared as hell. Yes, because that fear gave me enough energy to run 3 marathons at once.
Adrenaline rush do be like that.
I had to get out of this building.
Got some of that bonk atomic punch.
Maybe. I had to get out of this building as soon as possible. Although this...
Finally, what you've been trying to do since last night.
Yeah, exactly. Although this building was pretty big, I seemed to get panic attacks, possibly caused by my claustrophobia. Oh shit! Then how you would be able to use the toilet? You know, the cabins are quite narrow. Really? Haven't you thought about it? How will you be able to use the toilet? Unless you only come to school to take a piss. There was only one way left to get out of this building. I had to destroy a window. Finally! Finally some thought.
Ages.
No one would have to find out. You know, that teacher you left in the toilet certainly wouldn't. I took a heavy chair and threw it at the window. Hulk smash. It bounced off, and the window didn't even have a crack in it. I used a few more heavy objects and tried to destroy some other windows, but I couldn't get through them. Because, as we know, school windows are made of transparent rubber. Or whatever, I don't know. Because they're springy and elastic.
The only I can sort of come up with for this is maybe something supernatural could be at place, which we'll get to later on in the story.
Maybe. What the hell is happening to this place? What the hell is happening to all the audience now? Because I don't know. We're baffled by stupidity, main character. No, I wasn't just stuck in a school. I also seemed to be stuck in a building with dead people in it. Surely, health and safety authorities would close this hellhole down if they found out any corpse. I felt I had to eat something. You know, despite being scared to the point I wanted to puke my intestines out, I suddenly got a strong gastro face. I guess that basement hit something else. And that stuff had to be really good.
Nothing gets my appetite going than dead bodies.
Who you are? Shaggy from Scooby-Doo? I mean, this lad was always on a gastro face.
Imagine having to try to get out of a building with the corpses, and the first thing you think about is trying to get something to eat.
Definitely. But actually, Shaggy wasn't that much of an idiot. He had some bright moments sometimes.
Yeah.
So I took a chair to see if the glass of the vending machine was just as strong as the windows in this building. Again, Hulk smash. It didn't seem to be, because the chair went straight through the glass. I messed it up. People will find out that I was in this school and I destroyed the vending machine. Well, you could have done that in the first place knowing that the power was off. And great, now instead of a watch order you might get staying out at school and maybe for stealing coffee, now for breaking the school's property you'll get a prison sentence. And don't count on probation. Really. Go to all of the hells. Try picking up the soap. With no bending. I did actually take some food because I was very hungry. It was 4 p.m. Oh my god. From 9 to 4 he was full berserk mode. I think, I don't know. I didn't want to go to the basement anymore, as I wasn't curious at all anymore. Sure, tell yourself that. I went to the sofas at the first floor and decided just to chill. I took some food and my flashlight with me. Wish I had my portable console or a phone. I could play Pokemon at least on an emulator, but I was afraid that it too would get wet as I had no raincoat.
Because apparently, waterproof Ziploc bags are not a thing in this story.
Not at all. As I was afraid of the dark now, I took my flashlight with me everywhere. But you know that 2 batteries inside the flashlight won't last 2 nights while being constantly on. I didn't want it to die out, so I took all the batteries of all the flashlights that the storage room had. And I left my fingerprints on all over on all the cabinets. Same on the coffee machine and on that chair I smashed the glass of a vending machine. This way it became night. 2 nights to go, I thought. It was 8 p.m. and I already tried to sleep. I couldn't really sleep, so I was just lying there. I guess Jeff is pretty disappointed at you, and he's coming. Suddenly I heard something, footsteps, on the stairs to the first floor. See, I told you. I watched as this person entered the room I was in. It was a tall man, and in his hand he had an axe. Oh, holy fuck. I guess I was wrong. It wasn't Jeff the killer. It was Johnny from The Shining.
Jack Torrance is here.
Yes, definitely. Here's Johnny. The axe was red, and I sure it was blood. Oh really, I thought it was a strawberry jam. And you forgot one adjective. Hyper-realistic.
Yeah, or
Anyway.
maybe it's syrup. Same stuff they use for pig's blood in Carrie, another Stephen King story.
It was very dark in the building already, so I couldn't see his face. At this point, I was scared as hell. Where did he come from? I don't know, maybe the basement, because...
Sorry, I have to go.
Sorry? Sorry, I didn't hear that. I couldn't hear that. Can you tell it again?
Viola had to go.
Okay, so no problem. Thank you, Vile. Thank you for coming. See you
I'm
soon.
still here.
Okay. Wait a second. Okay, so who's going off? Never mind. I just confused. Let's move on because where did this guy come from? I don't know. Maybe from the basement, and he was infected with T virus as he was left by Umbrella. I don't know. He came closer and close said. Yes, that's how it's written. As if he was aware of my position. It was like he could smell me. I guess I made that easier because I didn't wash myself for 2 days. I had to get away. When he was almost next to me, I decided to run. Do I have to repeat myself again? Please don't make me.
He was almost next to me. I decided to run. You waited until he was right next to you to run? I would have just gotten the fuck out of there the moment I saw him.
Yeah, definitely. I ran as fast as I could towards the staircase to the ground floor. This man should have been coming through the front door, so I wanted to check that one first. I told you that front door usually remains closed on the Saturdays. Check the back side, the back doors or whatever the hell. Or the basement. You know, the emergency exit. The man chased me, making weird noises. Well, that's common with a T-virus. They tend to make weird noises. I was about 20 feet away from him, but he seemed to be faster. Well, that one isn't common with T-virus because their walk is a bit slower than normal human. You would be basically...
You waited until this motherfucker was right next to you to run, and you somehow got 20 feet distance between you and him, despite him being faster. How is that possible?
Wait a second, because I'm not used to the Imperial. I need to convert that whole measurement to my 6 meters. He was 6 meters away from you. My guess is he would be able to jump at you at best, though I don't know. When I reached the front door of the school, I checked if it was open. It wasn't. Well, you could always try, I don't know, ramming them. But maybe, I don't know, you would dislocate your shoulder because they were reinforced. The man was right behind me. If I would run to a classroom now, I would be dead for sure. Oh, now you see. All I would do then was being stuck in a corner and crying. Wah, wah, wah. I want to mommy. I shot my pants. I could run to a toilet and lock it, but I knew his axe would be able to smash through that door. And you could also drop dead seeing your teacher's corpse.
Yeah.
There was only one option left. Go to the safety room in the basement. I can as fast as I could, with adrenaline pumping through my body. You can. You know what? So I'm gonna con to you and deduce 50 points for those spelling cock-ups.
5 million points to Slytherin.
Definitely. I reached the door towards the basement, went down the stairs, crawled underneath the planks again. What planks? You ripped the planks off. And was in the hallway. Don't you know that? I thought you ripped all the planks. Wasn't that hole big enough to fit you in? I guess the hospital must have been staffed by midgets. I turned on my flashlight and looked behind me. The man was crawling underneath the planks. Oh. Yeah, my argument still stands. And this was the first time I could see his face. His face looked awful. His skin seemed to have fallen off and blood was everywhere. His eyes seemed to be bulging. Wait a second. What does that... What kind of thing does that to a man? I don't know. Was that this T-virus? Or... I don't know. Was he treated with radioactive therapy? Like... I don't know. He was exposed to radiation or took some pills with radium or polonium or uranium or whatever the hell.
Maybe it's a mix of both. Radioactive T-virus?
Radioactive T-virus. Oh my god, Wesker is going full apeshit. I ran as fast as I could into the safety room and tried to lock the door. I seemed to be standing on the corpse, but I didn't care right now. I guess you have broken the ribs of that skeleton. I think. The vault door was heavy as hell. I used all my strength to close it, and I locked it by turning the inside lock. I was safe, and suddenly became green and quite bulky.
Also, beginning to suffocate due to lack of oxygen because there's no vents here.
Or maybe there's one, but it's pretty stuffed with cobwebs and everything, so it's basically rendered useless. Although I wouldn't last forever as I had limited resources, so I returned back to my normal self. My plan was to wait here in this cold, stinging room until Monday, and then come out, running into the school. If I, considering I just made it through the night without suffocation. The school should be full of students by then, so I would have nothing to fear, except the fact that my clothes were just torn apart. Really, because he became green bulky, so I guess his
Oh yeah.
clothes were ripped to shreds. Even his trousers. I had only one problem with this plan. I didn't have any indication of time. Of course, that minimum air supply is just a nitpick. We'll get through it. I knew there were about 35 hours to go, so I just had to stick with this plan and wait in a room together with a corpse. I'm sure he wasn't infected with a T virus, but who knows?
Maybe if I get hungry, I will eat this corpse because I have no more Snickers on me.
See, all I had with me was a flashlight, about 20 batteries. I guess I don't. That all got on the ground near the corpse. Some candy, some sweets, biscuits, and the maps.
Oh, I stand corrected. He does have some food.
Yeah, as there wasn't any light source in the room I was in now. All the light I had was provided by my flashlight. Well, at least you could make some funny shadows on the walls so you would stay entertained. But honestly, a panic room should have some power source to power up the light bulbs.
You know what he should do? He should draw a bat symbol and try shining the light on the clouds so you can call Batman with the flashlight.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed that there was a bookshelf in this room. The bookshelf was filled with notebooks. Every notebook had a date on it. At least this panic room gave you a good opportunity to study in peace. You see? Because your companion is already resting in pieces. I took the notebook with the latest date. It was from 23 March 1949. Maybe they treated people with war trauma in this hospital. Also, good old for month's name is written starting with capital letters unless you meant a 23rd March in an order that took place in 1949. Just a friendly reminder. I'm not hating you, though you slowly start to make me do so. As this school started in 1960, this could contain why the hospital stopped running in the first place. And nobody checked they had a corpse rotting in the basement for about 70 years. I don't know, shouldn't this stench be obvious? At least by around 1962, if not earlier. It seemed to be some kind of diary of some nurse. She wrote about her patients and her colleagues. It started pretty normal. She also described the illnesses of her patients. Health records are usually written by the doctors, not the nurses. what do I know? I flipped to the last page. The last page was mostly blank. I mean, just like your sense of shame, Mr. Protagonist. All was written, all that was written on this page was this. Uh, Mind you, just read the text.
Yeah. Things are getting pretty serious now. All incoming patients seem to have the same illness.
No, that T virus might have been researched initially by some war criminals, if it does exist since 1940s.
They are all losing their skin.
Oh, surely it's not the result of radioactive therapy.
One of those patients freaked out and killed Margaret.
Wait, Margaret, who's that? Wait, could that be a mother of that certain fish face? I wish it was. At least we wouldn't have the killer verse.
He seemed to have an axe.
Wait, his own axe? He made his own axe. How? Was there some workshop that he could make an axe, or did he smuggle it inside his arse? I don't know. Do you have any explanations for that? Because I don't have any.
Maybe this patient just happened to be the master of axe making or some shit.
Yeah, possibly. Let's go further.
With 53 years old, we are scared that more people will take aggressive forms. I'll have to watch out to stay alive.
Also, I have to watch out to not get hit by a steel object coming out of patient's arse. That was all. I guess she didn't stay alive after all, so the book was never finished. There was a lot of weird stuff going on, paranormal stuff, or maybe the T virus was roaming around and you haven't noticed it yet. I don't know. Maybe because you're not infected yet. Never mind. If this man chasing me was this Wilford, he would have been 118 by now. Wait, if this story, what happened in the book takes place in 1949, this lad was 53 when he came to this hospital and started doing this killing spree. And then he's
Add up the numbers.
18. That means this story takes place in
2012.
2012. As if social fuckery around wasn't enough, we need to have this shite as well.
Oh wait, 2014.
Or 2014. Oh my god, even better. Well, but yeah, no, 2012 was like all that hype with the end of the world that never happened.
Ah yes, still remember that.
It could be, because you'll never know what a disease can do. I don't know. I don't know all the possibilities of a T virus. I played only Resident Evil 6 for a brief moment. I read some more of the notebook, but I didn't read much more interesting. Oh really? I thought you might find some clues how to, I don't know, get out of this hellhole, or chase off this Wilford lad, Shane the Killer, or whatever the hell his name is. This last page seem to summarize all the events of the time before this day. I took my maps again. I checked the map of the basement. I saw all the rooms, but their names didn't sound like some logical places for me to go at this time. I just had to stick to my plan and try to sleep on this cold metal floor. You try to sleep on this... Why? I don't know, you could at least cover yourself with books, or I don't know, use those notebooks to make a plank for you to lay on. I don't know. At least you wouldn't have a bigger sneeze. I just. It took a lot of time, but finally I fell asleep. I guess I blacked out for a while, but I don't know. When I woke up, I got hungry. I ate half of all the food I still had. Uh, don't you know that that compulsive eating is never a good option? I didn't have any drinks with me. I forgot to get the drink though. Yes, confirm. Yes, confirm. You will not have the drink. I had to get it to be able to survive. Maybe I would without, but it would be a tough time. I want my bloody coffee. Coffee keeps me alive.
Survive for like a couple of days without any drinks? I doubt that.
Definitely. 2 days without any drinks. Impossible. You're not a fucking camel.
Dehydration.
I decided to go out of the safety room and go up for some drinks from the vending machine. Why? Wouldn't you use a coffee machine? I thought you would not use drinks from the vending machine because I forgot, because you smashed it with a chair. Because its glass was fragile, unlike the glass of the windows, made of rubber. Oh my god. I guess this time he wanted some stronger stuff. Monster or Red Bull.
So, side note, if you do want to survive in a situation like this, coffee probably isn't the most desirable option, since coffee makes you pee and that could probably lead to dehydration faster. I'm just rambling.
Maybe. I will also get some more food and then go back into this safety room again. I opened the door and checked around with my flashlight. Nobody. Wait a second. How long did you sleep? I presume he didn't sleep long. Like, he fell asleep after like 9, and then he might have awakened. Might have awakened at 3, I think. He never tells us anyway, so all we can do is discuss it. I don't know. Assume, speculate. I went to the wall of planks, crawled underneath it, and went up. The planks that were supposed to be taken off, all of them, all 5 of them, but never mind. I noticed that the door to the basement had been closed. I tried to open it, but it seemed to be locked.
Oh shit.
Bull fucking shit. I pounded against the door, but there was no way to get through. How? Instead of pounding, you could just ram it. Break
Wait.
through. Break them from the joints.
Wait a minute, the basement door is locked. So shouldn't the lock be on his side of the door so he could just unlock it and get out? What kind of basement door locks the inside?
Certainly, there would be inside locks as well as the outside, as well as the keyhole from the outside. I ran to the safety room again and closed it off. You idiot. Never mind. I chose to think for a while to be able to make a good decision where to go. I took the map and chose to head for the emergency exit. Finally! One good decision over 20 fucked up.
It would have been so nice if he had just went for the emergency exit like 2 nights ago.
Definitely. As I could be free in about 30 minutes. I decided to eat all my food I had left to be strong for the run. Also making myself very thirsty, but I had no fucking water to drink up, so I was breathing very heavily. But never mind. I checked my routes about 1,000 times on the map, so I would be sure I wouldn't go the wrong way. At least he goes somewhere. About 20 minutes later, I decided to go. How? They took 20 minutes. It took you 20 minutes to finally decide to go for the emergency exit.
Also, very specifically 20 minutes, so there's our stopwatch moment again.
Yeah. I opened the vault door and ran, watching out to not fall flat and break my jaw. The hallway led me past the experimental room, I guess with the radioactive materials because of that, or dangerous chemicals room, the T-virus containers, I think, and past the deceased storage. The morgue! Use proper words! In my curiosity, I quickly look inside. You muppet!
Just why? Why would you want to look at more dead bodies?
Why would you enter the morgue when you were running for the exit?
We're already traumatized with just one dead body. Why would you want to look at more?
Oh, really? This is just... The stupidity of this lad breaks me. The room was full of people and all of them had skin like it was ripped off their heads. Well, again, T-virus possibly does that. I don't know. Maybe you'd know about something. Or maybe it was the result of radiation poisoning.
Radioactive T-virus.
I didn't know how many there were, but I think there were at least 10. I ran as they all started chasing me. Now you see, you've woken them up. Certainly, it must have been some umbrella facility before.
It's almost like checking into the morgue instead of just running straight to the exit without any detours was a bad idea. Good fucking job.
The emergency exit tunnel was longer than I thought. Oh no shit, Sherlock. And I had no idea where it would end. Because I don't know, I could probably hit my head into a wall and so on. I ran avoiding the stones or the grat and all that dead mice and so on. I didn't want to fall now. I saw the end of the tunnel with a trapdoor above it. Trapdoor! Who the fuck does give a trapdoor in such a tunnel?
No idea.
Unless, I don't know, it was like a shaft to the outside. I don't know. I quickly grabbed the handle of the trapdoor as the sick people came towards me. You see, now you're gonna get bitten and turn into a zombie. How I don't pity you. I opened the trapdoor and saw the forest above me. It was the forest next to my school. The forest. As I walked through this forest every morning on my way to school. Where does your school is situated on? On some
Also,
shithole?
Also, this trapdoor is just sitting right in the middle of this forest and it never drew anybody's attention.
Really. As I walked through this, I knew the forest very well and I knew my way home. As I tried to lift myself to the trapdoor into the forest, One of the sick people grabbed my leg. Now you'll die.
Yeah.
He'll drag me back into the tunnel. All the sick people gathered around me, and then one of them hit me with a baseball bat on my head. Everything
And
and then everything turned black. And now you're essentially a zombie. Because I don't know. Now you've joined the zombie horse from Resident Evil. You should. You could have avoided that by not looking into the morgue.
yeah, I just cannot
I don't know what did he, because I know these
On
bastards
that.
can wake up at very unexpected moment. You didn't even have to, I don't know, throw a pebble at one of those corpses.
always remember what I say. Curiosity killed the cat.
Well, the curiosity killed an idiot.
Yeah.
But let's just finish this one last paragraph. When I woke up, my head was pounding. I had a worst headache. I was laying on the ground, and above me, I could see the open trapdoor. With all the strength that I still had, I lifted myself through the trapdoor and crawled home. Because I don't know, maybe my legs stopped working and I just, or even, why am I even talking? I should be like doing doing this and that instead of consistent talking and so on.
You must have some real crawl all the way home instead of walk all the way home.
I don't know. What did he think? He thought that he was where? I don't know, the military training grounds, that he had to crawl under the barbed wire. I don't know. When I came home, I opened my front door. I seemed to be able to stand up, so I did. I walked into the living room where my mom was sitting on the sofa. She looked at me and said, "Honey, where were you? I was so worried about you. If you go away for the weekend, please tell me next time." How he was supposed to tell you when he had no fucking phone? And couldn't you just call the police?
Mother, that her son left his phone behind.
I mean, leaving the phone should be a warning sign.
Aye.
She stood up and walked towards me. Just before I could tell my story, I heard her scream. Wah! Because you look like zombie from Resident Evil or some mercenary from Stalker.
As we're about to see.
She screamed, "Son, why is your skin hanging off your face? And your eyes seems to be bulging. Don't you see he was infected with a T-virus? And possibly irradiated." The next moment I grabbed a knife and stabbed my mom.
Didn't stop by the kitchen to grab any knife, so I'm just gonna have to assume he pulled the knife out of his ass to stab his mom with it.
I presume yes, just like that other lad was able to pick an axe out of his arse.
Ah,
And
yes,
this is
Mr.
the end. This is the end of the story. Oh Jesus, no. It was trying so hard to be scary, but still the cliches of crappy pastas are so present it reeks with them. It stinks badly like some sewer.
Holy shit. Is that it? Is that it?
That is it. Basically, the main protagonist is such a muppet. He lacks everything about common sense. He knows he's in danger, yet he's going into he's walking into the places he shouldn't go. He doesn't even try defending. I don't know. He just blacked out, and when he's infected with the virus, or whatever the hell that is, he decides to become a spooky killer thingy or whatever. Oh my god! I mean, this story is has a good premise. I don't know, like haunted school or whatever the hell, based on it, but it tries so hard. It goes into some illogical pieces of writing. Only advantage I can get, it doesn't have that many spelling errors like Sonic EXZ does, but there were just, I don't know, two. Like with Sonic EXE, it was written all over with spelling grammar errors, and so did Jeff the Killer 2011. But really, the
Do
story
you
is
think?
so bloody painful. Like, even though other characters, his teacher is a dickhead. He thinks of punishments out of his arse, and I'm sure he would probably be fired for this because, that's not allowed by the school's rule book, I presume. Unless, I don't know, it's some school for mental degenerates or whatever, or whoever, I don't know. In a
Yeah.
regular sense, it doesn't make any sense to me why
Well, the
he's such a
writing.
dickhead. His parents are also quite. I mean, his mom at least is just a. He's he said she's gonna be really pissed at him, but when we saw her, she sounded really concerned. But again, she was only put there to be just to be just thrown as a meat to kill, and that's it.
While the writing style is indeed better than, Jeff the Killer or Sonic EXE, and the setting of being left alone in a possibly haunted school does indeed sound scary. Does indeed sound more scary than, a hacked video game or something. The characters' decisions are still way too stupid for me to want to root for them. And yeah, the whole leaps in logic, like not searching the basement for corpses when renovating the hospital into a school and all that.
Definitely.
Say, I have a question. Do you think this is worse or not as bad as Jeff the Killer?
Certainly, I'd argue Jeff the Killer is way more worse, not only because it spawned a deranged fandom, but also because of the style it's written and the inconsistencies it has. This pasta is having many inconsistencies, but it was at least written to an acceptable level. But still, reading this is painful. 5 pages so in the Word, it drags forever, and it just tries to be so fucking scary. It tries so hard. That's the weakest point. It tries so hard to introduce the suspense, the atmosphere, that it basically becomes a caricature. I would say, actually, if I was to rate like from 1 to 10, I would give this pasta a solid 3, because at least it tried. It fell
Also,
flat on its face, but it tried.
nihilistic.
Yeah, definitely. At least it didn't use the hyper realistic overuse of hyper realism or whatever the hell. At least the author knows is not that retarded. I'm not saying he's retarded, but definitely I wouldn't I wouldn't be. I would probably not present this as my magnum opus. I would rather think of a better story and improve my work, my literate workshop to write a better story. So
I def
anyway,
I definitely have a feeling that whatever creepypastas we might cover next, there's certainly gonna be far better ones than this and far worse ones.
possibly there might be a better story than this. This might be even worse story than this. I assume there will be probably worse story just in the grounds of Sonic EXE, like, but because certainly these are pretty much more common than this one. This one is actually trying to be good, but it just has many cliches that prevent it from being prevent from it becoming actually good. Good premise,
If
bad as execution. That's all I can sum with this pasta. I know I said with the same with Jeff the Killer, but unlike Jeff the Killer, this pasta didn't spawn any toxic fandom at all. It's harmless compared to Jeff the Killer.
aye.
So anyway, this was the third episode of ShitePasta. What a mindfuckery it was, although not as much as Sonic EXE and the likes. Make sure, I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did, to some extent. Or maybe I'm a psycho. Maybe. Thanks a lot for listening to us. Thank you, June, for helping me dealing with this story. And
Pleasure with you as always.
many thanks to Vile for letting me host this show once again. Sadly, she couldn't stay with us for long, but life happens. I hope we'll see again in the next episode. Now, see you again soon. Goodbye.